Welcome to beautiful San Jose, California, the capital of Silicon Valley, as Red Canvas Fight Promotions presents Art of Submission. Hey everybody, I'm Jay Adams alongside Pride, UFC, and Strikeforce veteran Frank Trigg. And Frank, first off, thank you so much for being with us. We are so pleased to have you on the show. Red Canvas Fight Promotions is doing something different than other promotions in that they are doing fights all throughout the United States to raise awareness to their new film, Art of Submission. It is a great flick.
You know, it's very smart. There's so many action flicks coming out now, and there's really no way to make them be separate from everybody else's, but they got smart. If we're going to have a film that's choreographed by Ernie Reyes Sr. and have it choreographed as well as it is, why not use live fights to help promote it? So that's what they're doing with these live fights over the U.S. is to help the theater release of the movie, and for me, it just makes sense. You see a live fight, and then go home that night, and the next morning get up and go watch the movie in the theater.
Another thing that they've done, which is very smart, is they're taking advantage of regional rivalries wherever they go in the United States. Here in Northern California, they're going to take advantage of the rivalry between American Kickboxing Academy and the Cesar Gracie group. The first fight, our main event, very compelling fight at 170. Lucas Gamaza, Wayne Phillips, and they are taking advantage of that rivalry.
You know, these guys, both are coming off fights where they didn't really show their best foot forward. They didn't come out there with their best game plan. Or did they come out there and show their new skills they've been learning in the gyms? Now add on that stress of it's my camp versus your camp. Whose karate is better? Whose kung fu is better? These guys both have to step up their game if they want to prove that their camp is better.
And at 55, a very compelling fight. Tomas Dion and Alexander Trevino. These guys have made it very clear that they have bad intentions in this fight.
Yeah, they really don't like each other, and the camps are getting involved as well, as you can anticipate with the rivalries like this. The problem is that both these guys are very, very good on their feet. They're improving on the ground, but they're both improving at the same speed. If I were a betting man, this would be the one fight in the entire card that I would call a pick'em. It's really difficult to tell which way this fight's going to go, and either one can dominate very, very early if they get the game plan off first.
You're not going to want to miss any of these fights, so sit back and relax and enjoy Art of Submission.
This lightweight matchup, Tale of the Tape, brought to you by Gordon Biersch. Alexander the Ugly Baby Trevino is 6 feet tall, 31 years old, fighting out of Gracie Fighter. He's 5-2 as a pro. His opponent, Tomas Dion, is 6 feet tall. He's 29 years old, fighting out of American Kickboxing Academy under Javier Mendez. He's 1-3 as a pro.
Welcome back inside the San Jose Civic Auditorium, everybody. Jay Adams alongside Frank Trigg. This is a lightweight matchup scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds. Tomas Dion fighting out of American Kickboxing Academy. There he is right there, looking very intense, very serious. There he is in the AKA black trunks, squaring off against Alexander the Spider Trevino. They call him the Ugly Baby. And looking forward to this one. Frank, these guys did not have very many smiles for each other at the weigh-ins.
These guys really don't like each other. That's one of the things I like about these crosstown rivalries is that guys aren't going to like each other and bring real heat when they come inside the cage.
Spider Trevino called the Ugly Baby. I said, why did they call you the Ugly Baby? He said, because I was ugly when I was born. That's what they called me for my first couple of years. And I laughed. And he said, no, I'm serious. That's what they called me.
Not good for his mom.
I know, exactly. Top wrestler out of Michigan. Says he's dangerous anywhere. He's got good height for 55, a little over 6'1". And Tomas Dion at just under 6 feet tall. So a little bit of a height advantage for Trevino. We'll see how that pans out as the fight gets underway here.
Dion's doing a good job pressing the pace and forcing Trevino's back against the cage the entire time. And right now, Trevino's just he's sidestepping, trying to get out of the way. He's moving the correct position. He's moving to the right, but he's got to get Dion out of the way because that back kick has been sliding in every time.
Yeah, Dion known for his kicks. He's got a great Sanshu game. Wrestling BJJ on the ground. Stalking Trevino now. Trevino circling away from his power, now back into his power. Trevino says, I always fight scared because that's not necessarily a problem for me, but it's just the way I fight. I love fighting, but I'm always nervous when I'm in the cage.
You should be. Every guy gets in. If you're not nervous when you get inside of in a cage like this for any kind of athletic competition, I don't care what sport it is. If you're not nervous, there's a problem. There's something going on. You need to be nervous.
You fought at the top level of this game. We talked a little bit at the opening of the show. You've been on Pride, UFC, Strikeforce, all the big shows. You fought all over the world. What do you do to calm those nerves down?
Throw up. That's pretty much the way it goes. Right when they come in and go, hey, look, you're up next. Excuse me. Go in the back.
What I've never gotten is how you guys sit back there in the locker room and all that tension and everybody, you know, the guys start getting worked up before their fight. They start feeling that vibe, how you don't go on that roller coaster with them. You've got to somehow stay on an even keel because you got to wait 4 more fights. You usually fight at the top of the card, so you got to wait all night long, and you got to somehow bring that back down.
You just try to take a nap. You don't pay attention. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. Your time is going to come when your time is going to come. You know, we're gladiators when we're sitting back there. You know, eventually we're going to get called out in front of the crowd. We just have to kind of wait, being nervous and having all that anxious and all that anxiety and all that physical. Oh, great overhand right. Stepping inside that cage, you know, when the other guy's going, you're not prepared yet. You're just going to waste your energy, so you want to save that for later. Just over time, you just kind of learn how to do it. Believe me, when I was 12, it wasn't happening that way, but you know, now I'm a little bit older. It's a lot easier.
Yeah, you do it so many times, you realize I better start learning how to do this, or it's not going to be a long career for me. It's either you learn it or you get out of the sport, I would imagine. Wow, there you see Trevino there with trying to get some offense going here. He's a little bit tired of Dion stalking him, but now back into the pattern. Dion trying to get him up against the cage, stalking him. You saw the foot speed of Dion. He's real crisp.
Well, that was a 7 punching kicking combination by Trevino, and only 2 landed. Everything else missed. As you see right here, he stops and stays inside and blocks 1 and puts him to the ground. Now let's see if we can change the action here a little bit. Dion's great at getting out of the way and being just 2 or 3 inches outside of that striking range, which has kept him from getting touched at all so far this fight.
Trevino calls him into the guard. We'll see if Dion takes him up on it. Dion's just going to punish him a little bit from the standing position, and Trevino finally realizes Dion doesn't want his guard. No reason for Dion to get into that guard yet. Right now, his strategy's working for him.
He's doing a great job. He hasn't been touched at all. Every punch has come through, every kick that's come through is blocked. Why go on the ground and take a risk of getting in some water you not really want to be into right now? Right now, he's doing a great job with this.
Oh! Spinning back kick right into the diaphragm of Trevino and sits him down.
Now, you saw him sticking his tongue out, and he was like waving him in and all that, you know, trying to show it like it didn't hurt him. He's hurt now. Trevino's going to be looking for that back kick to come in every time now because that back kick did hurt him.
You know, it's funny. That's kind of the running joke. If your guy makes a face like it didn't hurt, then you know he's hurt. After a while, why don't we all just agree not to do the "it didn't hurt me" face anymore? Because you're really just tipping your hand.
I do it for the crowd. I do it so the crowd knows, and the judges know that it didn't hurt. I don't really care at that point. I'm trying to let the judges know that I'm still in this fight.
Good strategy, right? Because maybe the judges don't know that. Maybe they haven't thought it through, or the crowd certainly doesn't. They want to see that you're okay.
Well, have you seen the judging lately? Of course they don't know. Oh! Boy. That's the 4th one that's landed flush.
Boy, he's good. He's got real good speed on those kicks. A nice right there by Trevino. He did clip Dion, and good sportsmanship there to end round 1.
Here you go, step into some of the replays. Nice long-range toe kick right to the stomach, comes back in with a side kick later on. You can see Dion's doing a great job of really getting out of the way and not getting touched. And if he is about to get touched, he blocks it off. He does an amazing job with it. Right up into the last 3 or 4 seconds, even those last 4 punches that were thrown at him, only 1 hit, and the other 3 he completely made miss simply by head motion. Dion, great speed, great head motion. If I'm Trevino, I'm saying in his corner, I'm telling him, you've got to get this to the ground. Don't beg him to come to the ground. You know, don't fall down and ask him to come in. You've got to get him down to the ground right now because you are losing this fight. And if this goes into deeper waters, the 4th round, 5th round, we're in trouble.
Exactly what I was going to ask you. What type of adjustments, if you were in Trevino's corner, would you be giving him? Because clearly he lost that 1st round. He's got to do something. He's got to change up his game. Everything's working for Dion. He's got the spinning back kicks. He even had a couple of switch kicks in there. Now he's sticking that left jab in Trevino's face. Everything's working for him. Trevino's got to mix it up.
Trevino right now is even losing the height and reach game. He's the taller guy with the longer reach, but he's not using it at all. So at this point, if you're on the outside and you're not using your height and your reach, get inside and just smother him now. Because he's really beating you up. He's going to get worse. See, his confidence is coming up. Dion's starting to move more. He's starting to lift that kick a lot quicker. Every time Trevino moves to his right, he's moving right into Dion's left-hand side, so he's getting right into that kick range.
And Trevino, he seems hesitant and he seems tentative, Frank. He's, you know, he's not committing to his offense. He's throwing a couple punches out there, but it's almost like he's getting ready to back up right after the punch.
Well, you know, he told us earlier that he does fight scared. like you said in the first round. But the thing is now that he's fighting, he goes into the fight scared, but now he's fighting scared. And that's a problem. When you get into a ring and you're staying in there, now you're trying to fight scared. He's staying way on the outside. He's real jerky, he's moving around. His kicks are coming too high, he's losing his footing. This is a problem. He's got to step inside. In my opinion, he needs to step inside and grab a hold of Dion and try and get us to the ground. If he stays on the outside here much longer, he's going to start getting clipped a lot more.
Yeah, Dion's confidence conversely growing as Trevino can't get his offense going. You can see Dion now really mixing it up. He's feeling confident. You can see it the way he's walking him down. He's stalking him, he's walking him down, and you said it perfectly. He's fighting scared now. Trevino's fighting scared. He's got it. Oh man.
Chest high, jeez.
When you're able to apply the exotics effortlessly and you're not being made to pay a price. I mean, he's doing all kinds of exotic stuff in there now, and there's no price being paid. That's the takedown right there, right? Grab that leg and shoot the single.
You know, for you guys at home, if you're brand new, you're watching the sport, here he goes. Now he's finally stepping in and taking that shot. As soon as he's rolling over, he needs to get off his knees and start lifting up. Dion's doing a great job pushing the head down. Nice, clean, perfectly timed sprawl. Very technical Dion was on that defense for his takedown. But Trevino now is sitting in a space where every time he gets kicked or he gets punched, he should return with some kind of kick or punch, and he's not. So if you guys at home, if you're still going to learn the sport, you're looking for the guy that's going to return every time he gets kicked or punched. He got kicked again, no response. So Dion now is going to keep coming back with more kicks, keep upping his punch rate, because nothing is happening to him. That's what Jay means by he's getting hit with all the exotics, but he's paying no price. There's no price being paid. You have to make a guy feel the heat if he's going to kick you in the gut 7-8 times in a row.
Tomas Dion, the Sanshu European champion, the ISKA world champion, fighting out of American Kickboxing Academy. And you got to believe Javier Mendez over in his corner right now and Bob Cook have to be very pleased with their protege. He's doing exactly what they told him to do. And that's got to be a great feeling when you're in the corner and your fighter is executing the strategy you gave him and it's working perfectly.
Well, you can see right behind Dion's butt right now. You see Bob Cook sitting there in the corner. He's not even saying anything. He's not even moving. It's working so well, he's not even having to yell any instructions. So it's exactly what the game plan is. Everything is working exactly perfect the way that they want it to work. Now, if something goes wrong and something happens, then they'll switch up their game. But right now, this one style of just keeping it on the feet is working tremendously for Dion.
Dion walking down Trevino, and Dion at 1-3 coming into this fight. You got to wonder who he fought coming out of the gate as he started off his MMA career. He might have put him in against some guys he shouldn't have been in there with because he's really looking good in there.
You know, you only can guess is that it was a guy that was a good wrestler, took him down, got him on the ground, and put him into a space where he doesn't really understand, which is the ground game. And Trevino doesn't look like to be in any space to do that. The one shot he took, it was a horrible shot, had no drive on it, was literally trying to make Dion fall on top of him, and that didn't work, so now he's kind of stuck. So I think Dion is going to be able to keep this on his feet and do whatever he wants to from a striking standpoint.
Dion trying to impress the crowd here in San Jose, California. Art of Submission. Jay Adams alongside Frank Trigg. Glad you joined us. We're here not only to enjoy these great fights, but to let you know about Art of Submission, starring Ernie Reyes Jr., Ving Rhames, George Takei, my boy from Star Trek. Anytime you got Sulu in a movie, I'm going to watch it. And Gray Maynard, the bully.
Yeah, the bully makes an appearance as well.
He does a great job in the movie. He's very convincing. He's a scary dude. And in the meantime, it has been a Thomas Dion rout. Trevino not able to get any offense going here, and this has been the pattern. And Dion able to throw those kicks when he wants, and very, look at, whoa.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah.
The one takedown attempt that Trevino has, he ends up on his back rolling around. Like, it was almost ridiculous. He's doing such a great job of finding the open space. Trevino's doing a good job of covering his body and covering his head with his long arms, his long forearms, but he's still getting caught in just that little bit of a space around his chest. He lifts his arms up, he gets caught in his stomach. He's getting beat up left and right. It's really becoming a situation now where Dion can just step up the pace now, increase his rate, and he should be able to put Trevino away because Trevino really has no answer.
This one's scheduled for 5 rounds. I don't know if it'll go that far with Dion, as you said, picking up the pace incrementally in every round. Every round he's gotten better and better and better, and every round Trevino more and more confused, and it's got to be frustrating. These are the worst nights for a fighter when you just don't have an answer. And it's so frustrating when you're out there and everything you've tried isn't working, Dion able to throw some axe kicks in there, spinning back kicks, switch kicks, and now beautiful boxing. Nice jab there. Doubling up on the jab, finding its mark, finding its home. Trevino, no head movement.
You see his eyes starting to mess with his eyes a little bit. You see him starting to swell a little bit underneath his eyes. He's starting to get beat up a little bit. If I'm Trevino's corner, the only thing I'm yelling at him is throw a 4-punch combination, make him get towards the cage so he can't get away from you anymore, and grab a hold of him and try and get him on the ground.
Number 5 connection in the diaphragm, right in the breadbasket with that kick. How good does that feel as a fighter when everything you've trained is working and you know you got a guy?
It's one of the best feelings you can ever have, that you put everything together, because in training it doesn't happen that way. You get beat up by your training partners, you get beat up by your coach, you're always tired, you're always sore. And to finally have the night that's supposed to pay off, to have it actually pay off is amazing.
This is a Region 2 championship here at Art of Submission. And again, the kick, the pattern strengthening, and it's almost like he's listening to you, Frank. He's picking up his pace, throwing more kicks.
You see his hands are coming a little bit lower now too. He's not even being threatened by the chance of getting punched, so his hands are dropping down. And he has a shorter reach, but he's able to slide his head to the outside and still get his jab off.
You saw that pattern developing in the last round, where his hands in the last minute of the last round were almost down by his side, and he really
geez, over the top of a straight jab. I mean, he came on the outside, moved his head, and it's amazing. Dion's head motion and his foot motion. Wow, this is an amazing fight to watch, because he's really technically sound from a striking standpoint. He's amazing, and Trevino just does not have an answer.
I asked Trevino about his ground game, because as you say, he's not shot too many times here, which is the answer for him. It's the only thing he can really try now. He said, I'm a grappler, but he didn't go into great detail about his background in grappling. He does list a 5-2 record coming into this, and he says, I'm good on the ground, but he doesn't seem to want to at least try to get Dion down to the ground.
Every time that he gets a strike is thrown at him, he moves his whole body backwards. He's putting himself out of range. When Dion gets thrown at him, wherever the punch is coming or the kick is coming, he just moves that body part. So he's still close enough to be able to get back inside again.
And yes, that welt underneath the left eye of Trevino is starting to puff up a little bit. It looks like it might have opened up, which actually might help. Ironically enough, it might help take a little bit of the swelling down, because it was a little bit more puffy earlier on, but it looks like it's opened up now. Under the eye, won't create any vision issues for Trevino. That's one thing he's got going for him.
Yeah.
I'm looking for things here. He's just got to get active. He's got to change it up. This is desperation time.
Yeah.
If you want to win this fight, you got to at least break the pattern and try stuff.
We're over the halfway mark at this point of this fight, of the potentially being able to go 5 rounds. He's got to step it up. We know he lost the first 2 rounds. He's got to start making it look like he's going to win these rounds.
And Dion catching him with the right. We'll see if Dion goes into the guard. No reason to, and of course he stands him up. It's not broken. They need to fix it. You just tuned in. You are watching Art of Submission. Hope you're enjoying it so far. Many more great fights. The switch kick. Oh!
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Over.
Yeah, right when I saw that one come in, I saw him drop his elbow and take that step back and not make that face where, look, it didn't hurt. I saw his face go blank. I knew for sure that kick had to end it, man. That was a great partial liver shot. And look at his step in. Just perfect motion. Every time he throws a punch, he slides his head, catches it, can recatch, do whatever he wants to with it. Dion completely dominates the entire fight by foot motion and sound technical striking skills.
Great job there. Thomas Dion upping his record to 2-3. Alexander Trevino dropping to 5-3. A dominant performance for Tomas Dion over Alexander Trevino.
Spinning back kicks, his ability to move his head when he's getting punched at. He could really do whatever he wanted to, whenever he wanted to do it. It's pretty amazing to see a guy like that with that kind of background have the exotics, like you like to say, all of a sudden throw him in there. He threw 8, 9, 10 different spinning back kicks. They all landed. When those were landing too easily, he almost started switching to a front kick because he knew he'd get right into the breadbasket, right into the front chest, and that's what he wanted to have happen. It was great.
My name's Miriam Nakamoto, and I'm fighting in the 135-pound weight class. I was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, and I live in Pleasanton, California. I wanted to get into mixed martial arts because I think I was looking for a new challenge, and I wanted something a bit more raw. The styles that I've been trained in is extensively is Muay Thai, then boxing, just a smidgen of wrestling and jiu-jitsu. I train at Combat Sports Academy in Dublin. My coach and manager is Kieran Fitzgibbons. I've won 3 world titles with him in the first year I was with him. I think we've totaled in coming on 3 years, 5 world titles. Yeah. My name's Miriam Nakamoto, and I'll see you on the red canvas.
This co-main event, Tale of the Tape, brought to you by Gordon Biersch. Elizabeth Phillips is 5'9". This is a catch weight at 139. She's 26 years old, fighting out of Sikh Jitsu under Rick Little. She is making her pro MMA debut. The Queen of Mean, Miriam Nakamoto, is 138 pounds. She fights out of Combat Sports Academy under Kieran Fitzgibbons. She is making her MMA debut. Our co-main event, Keys to Victory, brought to you by HBO Plus.
Nakamoto obviously needs to keep this on her feet with the user extensive Muay Thai background, where Phillips, if she's smart, is to get inside and get to the ground as quickly as possible.
Our co-main event on the night in the bantamweight division, a catch weight of 139. Elizabeth Phillips in the red and black, squaring off against the Queen of Mean, Miriam Nakamoto in the black and blue. This should be a phenomenal co-main event, Frank Trigg.
I gotta agree with you. I'm really wanting to see the kind of action that Phillips has. We both know that Nakamoto is going to win the stand-up game, but because it's MMA, this is not Muay Thai, we're going to see how well she can do with the adjustments of having somebody attack her legs all the time.
This is an easy one to handicap. Elizabeth Phillips has to get Miriam down to the canvas. She does not want to be standing with the 7-time Muay Thai champion of the world. That would be just about the stupidest thing you could possibly do in this fight.
Let's not forget, too, she's used to using 6-ounce gloves that the women use in Muay Thai with no finger holes, and now she's using a 5-ounce glove with finger holes, and you can actually punch harder and a little more accurately, not to mention the chance of cutting someone is a lot easier with these smaller gloves.
At some point, Miriam Nakamoto is going to want to go to the canvas at some point in her career in the first 3 or 4 fights just to get that feeling. And I said, will you try it at all in this fight? And she said, heck no, not a chance. She said, why would I do that? And, you know, my thinking was that get a little experience on the ground, but I think she wants to get some wins first in MMA. Both of these fighters making their pro debuts.
You know, it's kind of like a Chuck Liddell style, where he was really, really good on the ground. No one knew how good he was on the ground because no one ever could get him to the ground or hold him down there. And so he ended up later in his career getting knocked out because he was mainly a stand-up guy, and guys like, oh, what he should have done is started going to the ground more. He's a legit brown belt in jiu-jitsu, but does not use it because he's so good to stand up. Miriam could be the same way. She could be a black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but we'll never see it if no one ever can get her in that space.
There you see that, those crisp punches from Miriam Nakamoto. The first shot here by Elizabeth.
Wow, and diving shot, poor shot, poorly timed, but almost worked. She never got her hands locked behind Miriam's legs to get her down to the ground. Phillips did a great job on her timing in there. It just was not a very good shot. She needs to get back to it right away.
This could tell us a lot about the foreshadowing of this fight. Will Elizabeth be able to take Miriam down? Miriam's takedown defense has been worked extensively in the last 2 months. That's where she's really spent a lot of time. And obviously in her MMA pro debut, she wants to have a great showing here.
So far, she's doing good. Nice stalking, stepping into the right space. Anytime she's in striking distance, she makes a quick 1-2 punch every time. She very rarely does just one kick. She usually follows up with a punch there, even though she did just do one kick right there. The majority of the time, she's going to try and do combos on you. She's doing a good job, and Phillips is doing a great job of circling into her power hand, but making sure she doesn't get caught with it. She's in a good space. Nice spot for a throw. She has to get her leg free.
Elizabeth Phillips trying to go for the hip toss. Great defense there by Miriam Nakamoto. Miriam Nakamoto looks a lot bigger than her, especially in that last clinch. She just looked bigger and stronger. Bigger, stronger, a little bit more fit. She's definitely got a lot more density to her. You know, if it's the same weight class, you both weigh in at 139. So now you're talking about, okay, well, the same weight. Now what the differences are, Miriam's winning the speed game right now, and she's winning the density game. Every time she touches her, she's hitting her with more mass and more muscle power. Sticking those hands in her face. You saw those 2 punches earlier, right on the button. And you can already see Elizabeth Phillips, you can see the brain, you can see her wheels turning, like what kind of adjustments do I need to make, because I don't like what just happened in the last minute. And she's not liking that. Already that lead leg getting tagged by Miriam Nakamoto.
She's gonna go back to it again here pretty quick.
Damn, oh, bam, right there.
You can see her now stalking it. She's looking for it because she's landing on the meat every time she throws it, and she sees that leg buckling. She's gonna keep going after that lead leg now with that power kick on the right side.
Now the hands down, showing no respect for Phillips' offense. Stalking in with her chin down. Finally, the hands come back up. Working that lead leg again. I'll tell you right now, Elizabeth Phillips better check that kick, because if this develops into a pattern, she's not going to be able to walk by the third round.
And she's not going to check it, and she's got to make her pay some kind of a price afterwards. She's going to not check that kick. No, she finally checks it, so she is getting, it's starting to hurt her now, because before she wasn't checking it at all. Now she knows it's coming. She needs to make her pay a price. She's going to throw a kick in there, then she needs to throw one back. She's going to throw a kick in there, then she's a catcher or something else. If there's no price to be paid, you got to start checking it, because you're just going to keep getting more and more damage.
And unfortunately, she's circling to her left, which plays right into Miriam's power.
She's dumping right into it. She's staying on the outside a little bit of that power side, but not outside of the kick length. She's staying outside the punching length. Somebody forgot to tell her that Miriam knows how to, in a train kit, that Miriam knows how to kick that side.
And Miriam's punches just look so much better. They're straight. Elizabeth's kind of getting some windmill going on
exactly.
here.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. She's legitimately starting to fall apart. Every time she's getting kicked now, you can see her whole entire upper body's getting rotated.
That's about 6 or 7 nasty shots to the lead leg of Elizabeth Phillips. Elizabeth Phillips is going to be limping over to her corner if she makes it that far. She said she did win a title in a smaller promotion in June. Oh, and there's another shot to the same exact spot. A welt starting to develop on the upper and lower part of Elizabeth Phillips' left thigh. Finally, mercifully, Frank Trigg, round 1 comes to a close.
And that was damning. You see every time that she steps inside with this, she's getting in that kicking range, she's finding an open hole. You see as Phillips starts to fall apart, she's starting to windmill, drop her head, just dive in blindly. That was the best shot of the entire fight, and that was the first shot she took. And she never followed up. She never got her hands locked around her legs to get her and pinch her elbows in to get her knees together, to get her down to the ground. Nakamoto's doing a great job of staying on her feet. Like you said earlier, she worked extensively on her takedown defense. It's working well now. If I'm in these guys' corners, Nakamoto, she's staying right there. Keep doing what you're doing. Do more of it. If I'm in Phillips' corner, like we said in the first fight, get this one down to the ground quickly, because you're not going to win the stand-up.
Nakamoto getting her in-between round adjustments, instructions from Kieran Fitzgibbons from Combat Sports Academy. I'm not sure he had to give her any adjustments, frankly. He probably just said, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it's an amazing job so far. She's really putting it in there, putting it in there heavy and hard.
Conversely, what adjustments should Rich Little and Juliana Pena have given Elizabeth in her corner in between rounds?
Get it down to the ground. Take those shots like you did. You're already dipping yourself in. You're already windmilling, so we know that you're not going to win the stand-up game. You have no shot of really hitting Miriam hard enough to knock her down. Use that technique, though, to make her back up against the cage. Once she's pinned and can't go anywhere else, attack her legs right now. Not her waist, not her hips, attack her legs. Make her fall down to the ground, get on top of her, and immediately try to do as much damage as you can from a top position.
Exactly. Elizabeth should take advantage. She's got a wider base. She's shorter. If she could get down low and get below Miriam's center of gravity, she'd have a real good shot of dumping her down to the canvas. And now you get a new fight. But boy, she's shooting too high.
Yeah, she's shooting way too high. She's coming way up around the waist. She's not doing any kind of underhooking style. She really was trying to take a shot that just ended up around the waist. She's got to attack behind the knees if she wants to get Miriam down to the ground.
Nakamoto, the WBC, WMC Muay Thai world champion, and that's why right there.
Straight head kick, unprotected. Honestly, Phillips was lucky she mistimed it and misranged it, because she hit her with the top of the foot instead of her shin. If it was her shin, that would have been a knockout kick for sure. See, Miriam's getting more confidence now. Now she's starting to come up high to the head. She's warmed up. Her legs are moving more. Her hips are open. She's going to start picking up the pace now and going a lot more leg-head kick. She'll go leg one side, then head on the other side with her kicks.
Trained this thousands of times worldwide. She's trained all over the world. Beautiful knee in there, getting out, getting in, getting out. It's a Muay Thai clinic. And you're seeing why Muay Thai is so effective in the cage.
Phillips is dropping her hands. She's really not, she's trying to reach for the legs. She's trying to grab the legs as opposed to check them off. She's gonna get caught in the head here. She keeps dropping those legs like that. If I'm Miriam now, I'm gonna start doubling up my kick, do a lighter half-paced leg kick to that same leg, and then bring my foot all the way up and kick her in the head.
Juliana Pena over in Elizabeth's corner is screaming, and I've heard the scouting report on Pena. She is a very nasty fighter, and I could see some potential rivalry going on between these two schools already developing. We might just see down the road Miriam stepping into the cage with Juliana Pena. I'd pay to see that fight.
I don't think right now that Miriam's ready for that game. But yeah, I can definitely see that happening here in the next 3 or 4 fights. You know, for sure. By her 5th fight, for sure, I can definitely see that happening. But really, I mean, for as good as Miriam is doing right now in this fight, she's not ready for a girl like Pena. It just doesn't have that ability yet.
Pena's a beast, a beast. And when you have your protege get beat down like this, there's a little something extra in that fight when you want to fight him.
Yeah, you're right.
Meantime, that nasty right knee followed up by a left knee. Miriam Nakamoto is punishing Phillips.
Got her pinned against the cage. A great elbow right there on the inside, looking for the knee to the head. She's coming across. You see how Phillips is putting that leg in front, trying not to get caught in the face with any more knees. Really, Nakamoto's in a position, just keep kneeing the back, keep kneeing the legs and thighs in that position.
Nasty right knee, it's over! The right knee pops Elizabeth Phillips' head up. Referee had seen enough, and Miriam Nakamoto puts on a Muay Thai clinic in her MMA debut.
Absolutely amazing. Can't believe how good she looked. That was incredible how fast his knees and feet come in. She was, honestly, there was no way that Phillips was ever game on the stand-up in this position. That's the kick I was talking about earlier. That if it had been on the shin, it would have put her out entirely. Aggressive, good position, knows how to make this happen. But like we said, we saw Miriam all stand up. This is what she does. This is what she's been training for thousands and thousands of times to do this exact game. Let's now see what happens with someone in MMA that takes her down and puts her on the ground and finishes her off. Now you see that last combo was amazing, that knee to the elbow.
So Miriam Nakamoto doing exactly what she wanted to do, moving to 1-0 as an MMA fighter. Elizabeth Phillips dropping to 0-1. In the end, Miriam Nakamoto able to do exactly what she wanted to do when she wanted to do it. A dominant Muay Thai performance for the 7-time world champion.
We saw right there at the end of the fight before it got called off, she started throwing a bunch of knee elbow combinations, kick elbow combinations, starting to find her space, starting to find her timing. Unfortunately, we never got to see her on the ground, and I'm really interested to see what happens to her when she goes on the ground. But right now, obviously, she's one of the better female fighters, especially at the bantamweight division. Even though this was a catchweight, I think she still is able to crush most people in the stand-up game in the girls' division. I would like to see how she does on the ground, though, a little bit before just making that bigger step up to tougher competition.
My name is Wayne Phillips, and I fight in the 170 weight class. I was born in San Jose, and I fight out of San Jose, California. Basically, what got me into mixed martial arts was my father. I watched the first UFC with him back in '93 when I was young, and he was always into boxing. I originally started off as a wrestler, but then I progressed into jiu-jitsu, and then from there I went to stand-up, like kickboxing and Muay Thai. I fight out of American Kickboxing Academy in San Jose. I fight out there just because they're one of the top level gyms in the whole entire world, and I got great training partners and great coaches to train with. What I'd like to share with my friends and fans and family is just basically, you know, if you have a dream, never give up. My name is Wayne Phillips, and I'll see you at the Red Canvas.
Our main event, Tale of the Tape, brought to you by Gordon Biersch. Lucas Gamaza is tall for a welterweight at 6'3". The 27-year-old fights out of Gracie fighter Lodi under Nick and Nate Diaz. He's 6'3" as a pro. Wayne the Pain Phillips is 6'1". The 29-year-old fights out of American Kickboxing Academy. He's 5'6". And now our HBO Plus keys to victory in our main event of the evening.
Wayne Phillips needs to use his extensive wrestling ability, but he really should keep it on his feet. In Gamaza, being a Cesar Gracie Pro belt in Jiu-Jitsu, he's to put us on the ground in any position to get the victory early.
Keeping with our theme here at Art of Submission, the rivalry continues. Lucas Gamaza out of the Cesar Gracie camp, squaring off against Wayne Phillips out of the American Kickboxing Academy in our main event at welterweight. This is going to be a brawl, Frank.
We're scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Our referee in charge and here to give instructions to the fighters, Dan Stell.
Fighters. Listen, obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves, come out the bell. Good luck to both of you.
Lucas Gamaza with the height there. You see Wayne Phillips looking very lean at 170. Both of these guys are fit. They'll be able to go all night long. This one's scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Bragging rights here in Northern California at stake in the welterweight division, our main event. Here we go.
Nice feeling out process. Guys are trying to get in their pacing.
Gamaza at 6'3", you can see there, Frank, with a 2 or 3 inch height advantage over the Payne Wayne Phillips. Wayne Phillips kickboxing on his feet, jiu-jitsu on the ground. Gamaza a boxing practitioner on his feet, and of course jiu-jitsu on the ground, studying very closely with Nick and Nate Diaz. They're very, very close. That whole school is very close, a tight-knit community, and they really circle the wagons. When they come to an event, they feel like it's them against the world.
Yeah, you're right. And that is absolutely their game. And they do, and they've been playing it the whole time, and we all make fun of it, you know, the Diaz brothers, you know, I'm no punk, but their whole academy shows up whenever they do anything anywhere in the world. Everyone comes together, and they win or lose, they're all stick together like a family. So it's actually interesting to see.
Gamaza trying to pile Phillips up against the cage, bunch him up, make him uncomfortable. Nice cage walk there by Phillips, almost up to his feet.
Back up. He's got to get his, in this position now. He's got to get his hips back on the cage because there's too much weight on towards his head. There he goes. Now he's starting to rotate in. There he goes. Now he's in a position now he can counter. Double unders and gets out.
You see the high level here as we get to the main event. You see all of the different techniques on display when you get to the main event. Beautiful work there by Phillips to get out of trouble.
Nice timing, good push. You really got to be careful here, though. Look at Gamaza. He's got his hands nice and wide. Every time he throws these punches, he's got to be careful.
Gamaza told me MMA saved my life. I was going nowhere, and when I started training, my whole personality changed. My whole feeling about life changed. It gave me purpose. You hear that story over and over again in the sport of MMA. Getting kids off the streets, giving them a sense of confidence. They're not acting out anymore. They get self-control.
There's something about, you know, putting in the trenches and being at these practices, you know, 4 or 5 hours a day and 2 a days, and having to watch your diet and being responsible for other guys when you're trying to get them ready for fights. It forces you to have that community. A lot right now, we really don't have that really in America. Like, we're losing that family-oriented, that family community that we had in the earlier in the century. But now it's coming back through MMA because it's really you versus that guy in front of you when you're out there. But to get you there, it's your whole team, it's your whole camp, it's all your trainers. It does. It saves a lot of kids. Keeps them off the street and keeps them healthy.
This is Gamaza's first main event. And I said, does that change things for you in any way? He says, it just means I'm in the locker room longer. It's longer before I get to eat. Gamaza was awarded a purple belt from Cesar Gracie. When you get a belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from one of the better fighters, it's a real big deal. And it takes a long time to get a belt upgrade in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So he's very proud.
In traditional Jiu-Jitsu, it takes a real long time. I think now what's happening now, because everyone sees it on TV all the time, a lot of academies now are switching to the old pay-for-belt plan, where you give me a bunch of money and you can get your black belt in 3 years or whatever, or 2 years or whatever, without actually earning it. We're seeing a little bit of that now happening in the strip malls, but with Cesar Gracie, it's a legit family name, a legit group, and they are like, for you to get a purple belt, you're basically a black belt and everybody else. So kid's good for sure.
Right now, Gamaza working on the back now.
Oh, got
Gets
it.
Phillips back.
He's got the hook in. He's got both on the hooks in. If he can keep his hands locked, he'll stay there. If he can, he needs to go to body triangle. He's already got his foot halfway there. If he can go into that body triangle, he'll be able to lock in without using much energy. This position takes a lot of energy to stay on top, to stay in this position.
Wayne Phillips has been here before, trains with one of the better schools as well, American Kickboxing Academy. Some of the bigger names you've heard at the top levels of our sport training at AKA. He's not going to panic.
Good wrist control right here to stop the choke. He's letting it come back in again. He's got to get one hand underneath and get that arm off. He's always in the threat. He'll slide it in. He doesn't have it though. Chin's down. Phillips' chin is way down. There's no way this is going to happen. He's not even in a position really to get a jaw choke either. He's okay at this point.
And round number one comes to a close, a competitive round. How would you score it?
For me, it's kind of tough. I'm going to have to go with Gamaza, though, because he got the takedowns, got the positions, and ended up really having a full position in the back as the round ended.
We are celebrating the film release of Art of Submission, starring Ving Rhames, Frank Shamrock, Gray Maynard, Ernie Reyes Jr., and my boy, George Takei. It's a great flick, great fight choreography, and a lot of heart. Good storyline. Anything
with George Takei, and it's a good one for me, but then adding Gray Maynard, you know I'm going. I got to support my boy. Come on.
Gray does a really good job in this movie. You're going to be real happy. The guy comes across as an absolute menace. Welcome back, everybody. It is time for round number two of our main event. There you see Lucas Gamaza in the background, and of course Wayne Phillips in the foreground to the right of the screen. There's Wayne right there fighting out of AKA, and we gave that first round to Gamaza, but it's a close round. It's anybody's fight.
Absolutely a close round, but really just because the takedowns were the difference maker, and then having that, trying to get that rear naked choke at the end, really solidified the round for him, which is good because now you're showing the judges that you're going to work this game as much as you can. And now it forces, if Gamaza is being taught in his corner, it forces him to have to step up his pace a little bit, knowing full well coming into the second round, he lost the first one.
Yeah, Phillips is going to have to change it up a little bit. I'm sure the AKA team over there gave him some, probably exactly what you said. He's got to pick it up.
You know, obviously, Phillips can win the stand-up game. Gamaza is not doing very well at the stand-up game, but he's doing so well at getting it to the ground. He's saving himself any issues, and he dives. The way he dives in, he's not really getting hit. Phillips isn't taking advantage of Gamaza just kind of diving in on anything.
Yeah, Phillips loves the distance. You're right. He loves stepping just outside the pocket. He's a kickboxer, and he loves the distance. He'll trade all day long. If you'll stand with him, he'll trade all day long.
I do see a little bit of the Diaz brothers in Gamaza's stand-up game. He'll just all of a sudden start throwing his elbows wide and start throwing a bunch of, you know, really soft, what they look to be soft punches, whatever. But what he was trying to do is try to make you come back heavy and hard, have Phillips come back and throw a bunch of punches so he can take him down immediately. He wants you to start throwing these punches.
Coming to you from the San Jose Civic Auditorium, Jay Adams alongside Frank Trigg. Hope you're enjoying this one. It is our main event. Lucas Gamaza in the red striped black trunks. Wayne the Pain Phillips in the black trunks, circling to his left right now. It's been very close.
Reaching for that head tie, didn't quite get it. He's just a little bit too far out, Gamaza. He's doing everything kind of at the end of his punches, and then when he shoots, he's not in a good position really to get this down to the ground. He's got to get a better shot off.
I asked both these guys what their best moment so far was in MMA, and Gamaza said fighting on the same card as Nick Diaz, and Wayne Phillips said winning in Strikeforce, and it was in his hometown. That's got to be a dream. Big promotion, you're in your hometown and you win. Phillips trying to get it going again, trying to get back up to 500 ball. He walks into this fight at 5-6. Wants to try to even things out. Gamaza at 6-3. It's a tough slog, isn't it, as an MMA fighter?
Yeah, it's a long route. It's a long route. My kid, you know, people always ask me, "What are you gonna have your kids do when they grow up?" And golf, tennis, baseball, you know, something else. It's a long route, you know, and really it's a rewarding route because you're an individual and it's you versus them. But financially it's not very rewarding unless you're the top 2 or 3%. So a lot of these guys are still struggling just to get bills and pay together, but you know, there's always that shot of being in a big show and fighting in your hometown. You know, and that's, I never did that. I never fought in a big show in my hometown. There's never anything in Rochester, New York. You know, I live in Las Vegas now, but there's never any fights in my hometown where I was born and raised. So I would love to go back and at least have one fight in my hometown to be able to say and have a big promotion do it. Probably won't ever happen. You know, they'll if anybody ever goes to if it gets legalized in New York State, it'll be downstate to be in New York City. It definitely won't be up top. So.
Yeah, I've noticed in your career many times where you've gotten to be the bad guy and you're going into the other guy's hometown, and just once, you'd like to go into your own town, win a big fight.
Yeah, you know, but let's be honest though, heels make more money. That's just how it works.
Wear that black hat.
Yep.
Tough weight cut for Gamaza, and that's starting to show just a little bit here. He was really hurting at the weigh-ins. He's a tall guy. You know, when you're closing in on 6'4", getting down to 170 is not as easy as it used to be.
You know, that height, you know, I'm 5'9.5" and 3/4, and I try to put everything into it, you know, height-wise I can, but I pity the guys who are 6'4", 6'3", trying to make 170. They're just so hard.
Right.
You know, at that height, where's everything going?
Yeah, it was just a nasty cut. He was definitely hurting. You know, when they got the hoodies on for the whole weigh-in, and the hoodie never comes up, you don't see the face. And he had like a 20-foot circumference around him for the whole weigh-in, and no one went near him. It's like, there's a guy not to talk to.
That's the time you want to talk to him.
I know. You would do that.
Oh,
you would do that.
So real quick, I just need 30 seconds. How do you feel? At the end of the second round here. Good pace this time. This was a lot more evenly matched than the first round, simply because there were no takedowns, there was no submission position. I've got to give it to Gamaza because he had the better spots, the better space. I mean, really, that's what I think happened. He pushed the pace, he pushed him against the cage, he got more striking in, and he really understood how to control the ring. And that's, so I'm going to give that round now to Gamaza, so we're split, 1-1.
Coming up on the third and final round, it's anybody's fight. Welcome back to San Jose, California, everybody. I'm Jay Adams alongside Twinkle Toes, Frank Trigg. Glad you joined us. This is our main event of the night in the welterweight division. Lucas Gamaza on the left of your screen, Wayne Phillips, and we have this as anybody's fight, and this could go any direction. Both of these guys got to really pick it up here.
The corners have got to tell them, you know, look, it's probably 1-1. You've really got to get in here and try to win this third round to make sure that you're the victor in this fight. Or if I'm in Gamaza's corner, I would even step him up one more time and go, look, you're down 2 fights to none. You need to get a knockout now. He finally takes a shot, a deep, nice, hard shot. But unfortunately, talking about a purple belt in jiu-jitsu now that you've got him on top, he's immediately going into the high guard, trying to pull that knee over, rubber guard style, like 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu with Eddie Bravo style, trying to pull that knee in. If he gets the ankle across his face, he can finish this off with the omoplata. He's in a good spot. He's got to stay down. Gamaza's going to do a great job right now trying to keep his head down. He does not want to get popped up at all. If his head comes up at all, that ankle's going to come in front.
This is what you see out of the Cesar Gracie camp. You can see that Nick Diaz influence, despite the fact that Gamaza is so tall. He can get that long left leg all the way over the top of Phillips' head. That is astounding flexibility.
It's amazing how open his hip is, how open his groin is, to be able to get that knee flexibility, get that in there. It's really, really a testament to how, because, you know, guys don't walk into that flexible. It's the training that you do all the time to finally get that space in there.
Phillips looking to posture up and let the hands go, but there's not a chance. Look at that.
He's coming the other side. The problem is that Phillips has his hands down on the canvas. Every time the hand goes down, it's the ability to get the omoplata in. You've got to keep your hands on your opponent if you want to stop these things from happening. He can't go to omoplata, he can't go to gogoplata, he can't do any of that if your hands and your elbows are in the middle of his body. Once it goes to the canvas, you're giving him space to get it in.
Look at the flexibility in that right leg. That doesn't even look, he looks like a yogini up there. Look at him.
Gamaza, right now, if he could just dig his free arm underneath his chin, he'll get Phillips' head up. But he's got to dig it underneath like a knife blade and start forcing that head to come up. He's actually helping him by holding it down. The way he had it locked up, he was keeping his head on his chest. He actually helped him fail at that attempt, that submission attempt. It was a great spot. He was in a finishing position. In the old Pride days, they call that a catch. So for the judges will know that, hey, there's a submission, a true catch, not just rolling into something. He's really trying to finish this off. He has a great spot in there, man. It was a great spot.
Good point, Frank Trigg. Now he's fishing for the Kimura. But Phillips wisely keeping that right arm tucked in tight. But, boy, he's fighting for it.
If he's smart at this point, right now, Phillips has got a hold of his shorts in here. He's got his hand pinned in there, trying to keep that hand from coming out. It's okay for you to grab your own shorts. You just can't grab your opponent's shorts. So if he locks onto his own shorts, he's good.
It's funny, when he got the takedown, and he said, yeah, but now you're in the guard of a purple belt. It's almost like, where do you go? There's nowhere to go. Hey, I got the takedown. Oh, wait a minute. I got the takedown. That's not good.
When you're taking down a jiu-jitsu guy like that, you have to put yourself, the whole purpose of a takedown is not to end up in the guard anymore, because you're giving that jiu-jitsu guy the advantage. If you see here, he's got the advantage. This is now his fourth submission attempt he's gone to in this entire position. If you take a guy down, end up in half guard, end up fully by his guard. Do not take him down and end up in his guard, especially a jiu-jitsu guy. It's going to be impossible then to pass his guard, and nothing's going to happen, unless you're a high-level jiu-jitsu guy too, which Phillips unfortunately isn't.
Phillips just trying to keep it in tight now. It's almost like he heard you. He's keeping his elbows in tight now. He's got his forearms now on the diaphragm of Gamaza, who now is fishing for the other side. Good active submission attempts. Like you were saying, Gamaza real active from his guard. Quick transitions and good active pace on the submission attempts.
He keeps changing sides. He's doing submission attempts to both sides. He's sticking with it hard and heavy, and it's smart because what's happening is, one, it's forcing Phillips not to be able to throw any punches on top. So he might be on top, but the judges are looking at this like he's not doing anything. He's basically stalling out. Where Gamaza on the bottom is really trying to finish this fight. He's really trying to put himself in a space to get a tap out. The judges are looking at this. Even though he got taken down, he actually could be winning this, depending on the judges, could be winning this round right now, which will win him the fight.
It'd be fascinating.
Oh, full attempt. He's got it out. Wow, the strength from Phillips to get that arm free.
Yeah, this would be fascinating if it does go to the judges' card to see how they score the round. You know, judges in different states, they score differently.
Well, that's the problem. A lot of guys talk about like John Fitch and Ben Askren's style. So it's a boring style. It's a boring style, but it's not. If you look at what they're doing, yes, it's boring to the layman. I'm not going to show a friend of mine who's never seen MMA before one of their fights. But if you really know about the sport and you see what they're doing down there, it's amazing. The little motion, the little technicians. What Gamaza's doing right now at the end of the round, he's really trying to put himself in a position to finish, and that's what those guys are doing as well. It's so small and so technical that a lot of people miss it, but that's amazing technical ability on the bottom that the judges need to pay attention more to.
Well, this will be fascinating to see how the judges score this one. Our judges tonight, Steve Morrow, Ed Calentes, and Susan Getlin. How'd you score it at home? You can see the fighters lobbying the judges right now. I did better. Look at, I'm crisper, I'm fresher. You know, I love the guys who do the push-ups afterwards. It's all lobbying.
I have no energy left to do any kind of push-ups, do any kind of lobbying. I'm like, look, you guys handle it. I'm just over here in the corner. I'm exhausted. I just had a 3-round fight. Like, I got nothing left.
There you see Nate Diaz coming over and saying congratulations to Phillips, saying good fight. There's a lot of respect, especially at the end of the fight. Yeah, there is the crosstown rivalry, but if you don't have your nemesis, you can't practice your sport.
Exactly.
So there's a mutual respect there.
Exactly. You're right. Without having that guy, that arch rival, you know, it's hard to stay relevant. You have that one guy, you know, Gray Maynard, Frankie Edgar. You know, that's the rivalry. That's what's going to happen. You know, people want to talk about that. People want to know what's going on with that. They want to see which way it's going to go and how it's going to work. So they're going to watch these fights again, over and over again. You got to have that rivalry. You must.
And we are going to find out who gets the crosstown bragging right shortly. It was a war, you know. We have this one very, very close. It's a hard call to make. A great main event, good high-quality fighting here in the welterweight division. Celebrating the new release of Art of Submission, and what a great way to do it. Frank Shamrock, your boy Gray Maynard, Ving Rhames, Ernie Reyes Jr. in the movie. The judges right now tallying their scores. It's going to be interesting to see how they score this one. And our ring announcer, Danny Miller, will make it official. Up to cage side. Take it away.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our co-main event of the evening goes the distance. And we go to the scorecards. Judge Steve Morrow scored the bout 29-28, Gamaza. Judge Ed Calante scored the bout 29-28, Phillips. And Judge Susan Thomas Gitlin scored the bout 29-28 for the winner by split decision, Lucas Gamaza.
All right, I'm here with the winner, Lucas Gamaza. And Lucas, the rivalry goes on between the two schools. A razor-thin win for you. Great fight, good high-level grappling. We all expected that. Your thoughts on your performance tonight, Lucas?
I expected a good, long fight. I know I've seen Wayne fight a lot, and I said before, he's a tough dude. He fights from bell to bell. He didn't quit. I couldn't quit, you know, so I just had to keep going, and I guess my technique was better.
And what was it that you felt made the difference in the fight? Was there any particular round that sticks out in your mind?
I landed a couple of shots here and there. I got a few takedowns to his one, so I believe that just put me on top right there. Plus, I was attacking the majority of the time.
One more time for Lucas Gamaza!
Frank Trigg, a great night of fights. I wasn't disappointed. I know you weren't disappointed. Let's talk a little bit about some of the fights we saw tonight. That 55 fight, Tomas Dian, just an absolute dominant performance over Alexander Trevino. He was able to do whatever he wanted to do, whenever he wanted to do it. All right, let's talk about that female fight. It was fabulous. It was what most people expected. Miriam Nakamoto taking out Elizabeth Phillips. Elizabeth Phillips was game, but Miriam Nakamoto able to apply that Muay Thai whenever she wanted to. Lucas Gamaza, Wayne Phillips, our main event. A great battle, a high-level match. Great jiu-jitsu in there in the cage.
You know, it really was a testament to see that both these guys, they did. I said in the opener that these guys need to really step up their game a little bit, and they did. Unfortunately, both guys stepped their game up, so they're very evenly matched. But when one was great, the other one was weak. When one was weak, the other one was great. So now they go home, they look at this, and go, look, I was great in the ground game. That was what won me the fight in Gamaza. But now I've got to learn how to be better at the stand-up game. With Phillips, I'm great at the stand-up game. I could pick it apart. I could do what I wanted. I got to learn how to control the ground game. Because when I finally got that great takedown, I got a lot of trouble. It's not where you wanted to be. An amazing fight and very, very technical from both guys. It's a pleasure to watch them both fight. Well worthy of being a main event. I can't wait to see both these guys fight again.
Art of Submission, a great fight brand and a great fight movie. For my partner Frank Trigg, I'm Jay Adams saying we'll see you next time on United Fight Alliance.